News 46 is brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to Pahrump area seniors. Give us a call at 751-2300 and make an appointment to tour our community. News is also brought to you by Bees Embroidery and Garment Printing, specializing in custom and personalized decoration of gifts, garments, and more. Call 775-727-9444. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Tonight on News 46, a suspect is taken into custody after a standoff with police. A new specialist opens shop at Desert View Hospital. And the BOCC decides to allow fireworks in a designated area. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, May 13th, 2015. I'm Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. A domestic dispute between a couple involving a firearm being discharged into the ground prompted police to be called to a residence off Blagg and Basin Avenue last night. The almost 4-hour standoff between law enforcement and a 48-year-old suspect who police say was upset about the direction his family life has gone.
Well, we had a man that got very upset, and we thought that he was barricaded in a building, and come to find out he was not in the building. He was a couple of houses over behind someone's air conditioner, and he's in custody.
How did this start?
Everything turned out just fine.
How did it start, do you know?
Well, it started that he had a kind of a disagreement with his girlfriend. And I believe there were a couple of shots fired. However, he didn't shoot at her. He shot into the ground. The neighbors called, and we were told that he was barricaded in a building. And it turned out where he wasn't in the building.
You brought SWAT in. They kind of systematically searched the whole entire residence.
Yes, we searched the residence, and we talked to the building a lot. The man he heard a lot of the things that we had to say. Mm-hmm. The negotiator did a wonderful job.
And that was Detective Michael Eisenloff.
That was Detective Michael Eisenloff.
And so tell me about one of the heat sensing devices that you were using over there.
Oh, we were using a FLIR. We were trying to determine if he was in the building. We finally cut all the power to the building because it had electrical items in it that gave us a false reading. And we were never able to identify that he was in the building, but then we couldn't identify that he wasn't either because of the residual heat.
They used a flashbang and some less than lethal.
Yes, we did. We used a flashbang to gather his attention in case he was in the building, and then we used less than lethal pepper ball to try to gas him out. And he wasn't in the building, but he heard all that, got worried about his parents. And so we were able to take him into custody.
And so he was taken into custody as well as a female, or no, she wasn't?
I don't really know. I know she was in the car. I believe she was in protective custody, but I couldn't tell you.
And then they were living with grandparents? Is that what's going on, or parents?
No, they were his parents, and his son was also unseen.
And so anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm just really, really thankful that it turned out well.
Good job to all Nye County Sheriff's officers.
Everyone did a wonderful job.
Good job to the Nye County Sheriff's Office. The Amtrak train that crashed in Philadelphia, killing at least 7 people and injuring hundreds, was hurling at 106 miles per hour before it ran off the rails along a sharp curve where the speed limit drops to just 50 miles per hour. The engineer applied the emergency brakes moments before the crash, but managed to slow the train to only 102 miles per hour by the time the locomotive's black box stopped recording data. The speed limit just before the bend is 80. A new specialist has come to town. We caught up with Dr. Rick Bernstein this morning to find out more.
It is our pleasure to introduce Dr. Rick Bernstein to the community. He's a vascular surgeon, has many, many years of experiences. Matter of fact, he just finished his second or third fellowship at the Cleveland Clinic. We are delighted to have him here in the community as a vascular surgeon. There's a whole host of procedures that he wants to introduce to the community. And in fact, a little bit later on here this morning, we're going to be introducing him to all the referring physicians in primary care in the community. So I couldn't be more pleased to make the announcements for Dr. Bernstein to be here, and we thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
All
Thank
right.
you. Well, I've been doing vascular and thoracic surgery for more than 20 years now. I'm originally from Chicago, but we've been in Las Vegas since 2003. And vascular surgery, as many people know, but some don't, has to do with treating the circulation, including the arteries and the veins of various parts in the body. And most of what we do now has to do with bypassing blockages in arteries or removing veins or treating veins from the inside. That portion of our practice where we treat things from the inside has now gone to arterial treatments also. So we're doing less things maximally invasive and more things minimally invasive now. That's why I just came back from this special fellowship at the Cleveland Clinic, which was strictly about endovascular surgery. So instead of having to make great big long incisions, which occasionally we still have to do, but less and less with these long incisions on people, sometimes we don't need to make incisions at all. We can treat even things like abdominal aneurysms and thoracic aneurysms through little small incisions in the groins and put stents in from the inside. And these are treatments that used to be relegated to other specialties like radiology or cardiology. And surgeons were relegated to taking care of complications. But now the surgeons have gotten trained, and that's why I went to Cleveland Clinic, so we can all do the same thing. So we can now not only do the surgery, but I can also do the interventions, the less invasive procedures, and be complementary to the cardiologists and the radiologists to help them and back up their practice and work with them. So in that way, we can treat a whole cadre of patients that we couldn't before.
If you would like to see the entire press conference with Dr. Bernstein, you can find it on our YouTube channel, which is KPVM-41. When we return, we'll have your Desert View Hospital health tip.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to Pahrump area seniors. Give us a call at 751-2300 and make an appointment to tour our community.
Welcome back to News 46. Prostate cancer is usually diagnosed with a standard biopsy, which randomly samples the entire prostate with the help of ultrasound. A newer, more targeted approach uses magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI technology, to help identify prostate cancer. A new study examined whether this new approach using MRI was better at detecting prostate cancer, especially higher risk tumors. Catherine Dolph has more in this week's JAMA report.
This health tip is brought to you by
Desert View Hospital and Mountain Valley Physicians Group. Don't put your health on hold. We have time. 51-7100.
We've met many patients like you whose tumors are hidden.
Ronald Briscoe is talking with doctors about his prostate cancer.
My older brother, my father had it, and also my baby brother has it.
Doctors found his high-risk prostate cancer by using MRI-guided technology.
MRI can tell us where tumors are hiding in the prostate. It's not normally sampled.
This approach is different from a standard prostate biopsy that uses ultrasound.
Ultrasound ensures that the needles hit the prostate, but we don't use the ultrasound to direct the needles into where the tumor may be present.
We randomly try to get all the prostate sample in hopes of catching the cancer.
Doctors Peter Pinto and Manoj Siddiqui from the National Cancer Institute, National Institutes of Health, along with their co-authors, looked at more than 1,000 men with elevated PSA levels. These men underwent both an MRI-guided targeted biopsy and also the traditional standard biopsy using ultrasound alone. The results of both biopsies were then compared.
The targeted MRI-guided biopsy had a 30% increase in detection of high-risk prostate cancer as compared to the traditional biopsies performed today. low-risk cancers that are felt to be overdiagnosed and overtreated were actually detected 70% less in the targeted biopsy.
While the results of this study are still preliminary, additional research is still needed to understand how this new technology might be used in the future.
The benefit of doing that is that we maximize our ability to detect the high-risk cancers that matter, and also potentially avoid the harm of detecting cancer which is clinically insignificant and unlikely to cause problems for the patient.
If you catch it early and get it done, taken care of, you get to live a longer life.
Catherine Dolph, The JAMA Report.
Both the targeted and standard prostate biopsy can be done in the outpatient setting. The Board of County Commissioners has decided to allow fireworks at the Pahrump Fairgrounds on South Highway 160. The property is located near Game Bird across from Spring Mountain Motorsports. The amended law allows aerial fireworks for consumers. Last year, they allowed the use of ground fireworks by individuals. The previous law allowed you to purchase fireworks and gave you 24 hours to take them out of town. You can now shoot them off at the designated area. Each consumer who wants to take advantage of the new law will pay a $5 safety fee to shoot the fireworks off at the site. The money will be used to improve the fairgrounds, fire department, and sheriff's office. The site is set to open in 2 weeks, hopefully Memorial Day weekend, they say. It will not be open throughout the year, but periodically. The Pahrump Valley Rough Riders are holding their Gymkhana event this Saturday night.
Pahrump Valley Rough Riders is a local club. They've been in, I guess, business or been in town for 20, 30 years. Wow. We've been doing it for about 5 years. It's a Gymkhana club. They have 3 different events. It's every month from February to November on the 3rd Saturday of the month. And they come out, ride their horses. It's timed events. They get prizes at the end, you know, and it teaches kids to take care of their animals and, you know, life.
You guys are down there at the McCall Arena right there near Petrick Park, right?
Yes.
Can the public come watch you guys?
The public, it's open to the public. It's free to watch. There's stands there. We have food vendors there. And our night shows are 6 o'clock. And our day shows are 9 o'clock in the morning. November is our last show. And then after that, we have our banquet, end of the year banquet. So,
can the residents join the Gymkhana group if they have a horse and they'd like to ride and become part of the Pahrump Valley Rough Riders?
Yes, everybody's welcome. Anybody that has a horse, they can come down. Usually January, they are sign up, but anybody can sign up all through the year. And
what types of events?
Barrel racing, poles, and then the third event always changes.
And then what ages are you looking at?
Every age. From if they could sit on a saddle, they can ride, and all the way to if you're old enough to stay on the saddle. So.
When's your next event?
Our next event is May 16th, and it's a night show.
And so that's the one at 6 p.m.?
Yes.
Right there off of Basin near Highway 160, right behind Petrick Park and the McCall Arena. Just come on down.
Yep, anytime.
Do you guys have a website for more information?
We have a website. It's PahrumpValleyRoughRiders.org. We also have a Facebook page. Everybody's welcome to friend request, ask questions. My number is 702-234-7787. I'm the president of the club.
When we return, some beauty tips from Alicia Cook.